For decades, NCR's skyline stayed low and spread wide, while Mumbai embraced vertical living with its soaring towers. But the story is changing. NCR is rising, now touching 40 to 50 floors, while Mumbai continues to stretch higher with 80 floors and above, touching height of 300 plus meters. Construction Chronicles, the engineering behind modern Indian towers.
So it was inevitable for NCR to witness the tall building growth. This is because of various factors which have come together now. The foremost is the availability of higher development potential. We have policies which support higher densities like TOD and TDRs. The plot sizes have reduced, and that has created a need to go taller.
So when we speak about Delhi, it is in a very special position from both earthquake and wind point of view. It certainly has a higher earthquake forces which we have to cater to. Although it is a landlocked area, but still the wind speeds are quite high. Now, just to give you a comparison, Bombay has a basic wind speed of 44 meters per second, whereas Delhi has a wind speed of 50 meters per second. It sounds surprising, but that is the fact. So it has its own challenges from both earthquake and wind point of view. But certainly we do have different technologies available. We can address all these concerns very easily. Now with the advent of all high-level computing machines and with the advanced structural analysis programs, all this is possible. Now the question comes that how do we really more accurately assess these forces and how do we design? So for the assessment part, in case of an earthquake, there's a lot of analysis which is generally done, and like probabilistic seismic hazard analysis done coupled with deterministic seismic hazard analysis. And these things are actually already inbuilt in the earthquake code. But in certain situations, when the project is very specific, these things are also required and sometimes they can be done. Second thing comes for the wind. For all these tall buildings, a very important thing is to assess the wind forces accurately. And this is where the wind tunnel testing comes in handy. We make a model of the structure and its surroundings, and then this full model is placed in a wind tunnel, and winds are blown at very high speed. And with all these sensors and all the data is recorded, and then we actually know which part of the building is going to get how much wind pressure. It shows us where the stresses can be concentrated, and all the stress points are then detailed accordingly. And so that we get a resilient and strong and safe, and at the same time, structure which gives the occupants comfort and safety. Strong foundations mean a strong and resilient building. As we go taller, the interaction of the foundation and the soil underneath becomes very important. So then we start doing this soil structure interaction analysis, and we find that how much soil will be compressed under the weight of the building, and then we see what could be the possible pressures which can be allowed and how the soil really behaves. So this kind of analysis is also very important.
For Delhi NCR, liquefaction is again a very common problem. So liquefaction is something which depends on the soil type and the water, groundwater table. So in Experion, we do not think much about the constructability or the volumes. Rather, we think about the customer safety and the comfort. We also focus on durability and the resilience of the structure. For that, choosing the right framing is very important. So in Experion, we generally make the building with Maiban or the shear wall system. The advantage of this system is that it can sustain higher lateral forces like earthquake and wind with lesser drift deflection in the cracks. So eventually it helps to increase the building life and the durability.
So in Experion, we often debate, are we designing beautiful buildings? To answer that question, we often try to draw an analogy with, say, a beautiful human being. So a beautiful human being is not just about the external beauty. A beautiful human being will have a beautiful bone structure. If you draw a parallel, that will be a resilient structure of the building. So we give equal importance to designing a beautiful structure as well. A beautiful human being will have an efficient nervous system which supplies the vital blood to all parts of the body. And then we compare it with our MEP systems in the building. How efficient our MEP system is. That is, does it support the required design parameters? Will it be as efficient during the entire lifetime of the building? And when all these things come together in harmony, in precise balance, that is where the idea of a beautiful building is born. And in Experion, we truly believe it's just not about architecture per se, but it's every component of the design coming together, and that is where a beautiful building is born.
An architectural masterpiece is not just about aesthetics, but also about the effort that goes into designing all components such as structure, services, sustainability, and landscaping. This challenge becomes even more complex in tall buildings. It takes years of experience and precision in design and engineering to create a home that not only makes a statement, but also ensures comfort, longevity, and harmony with its environment, elevating it beyond just a place to live into a truly aspiring home. At Experion, this is our aim when we design our buildings.